Hi guys, today I want to talk to you about narcissists and addictions. A former chief psychologist at Harvard Medical School named Dr. Craig Malkin, he has confirmed that research shows that narcissists are more likely to have addictions to substances. So narcissists believe that they are stronger than everybody, nothing bad will ever happen to them, so that whenever they're indulging in their substance abuse, they believe that they are pretty much immune to any type of overdoses. They believe that no harm will ever come to them. They make excuses as to how their addictions aren't really addictions, and they're in denial about it. The most common addictions in narcissists are alcohol, prescription drug medications, meth, cocaine, and heroin. Now, I want to talk about my narcissist. Okay, so my narcissistic mother, from before I was even born, she had an addiction to alcohol. And it was pretty brutal growing up with that. There was her chasing me around the house while she was intoxicated. And it just seemed like she was always drinking all the time. And she would drink these like big 40s of like Guinness. At least I think they're 40s. But they were like really huge bottles. Her addiction was so bad that she took me to bars with her, and she would seat me at the bar while she, did the whole social butterfly drinking thing, sitting on men's laps, trying to get them to buy her drinks. And her friends would sometimes have like little drinking parties, and we'd go over to their house. I'd be sitting there playing with kids, if they had any, and they would just be sitting there drinking, having a grand old time, yelling and screaming. And sometimes she even held those little drinking parties wherever we lived. And I remember one time when I was real young, I woke up in the middle of the night and there was just people passed out like everywhere. So I went into my mom's room and I saw her having relations with the door wide open with a man. Eventually she told me, like when I was much older, when I told her about this, she said it was my father, but I'm not really sure. But I'm not really exactly sure how she stopped drinking. I just know that when I was like 10-ish, I started pouring her alcohol down the sink, and she couldn't really afford to get more because I was tired of, the alcohol abuse. At a young age, I knew that it wasn't right. One of her other addictions is cigarettes, because they can be an addiction, but it's more of a common addiction that isn't seen as harmful as alcohol or drugs. She's tried to quit many times, and each time it's failed. She's tried all kinds of things, even that Chantix drug, patches, gum, what have you. It just didn't work. And then the biggest one is prescription medications. From the time I was a young age, she was taking medications because she said that she was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And as I got older, I would see how these drugs would affect her. And then in my teens, she said that the doctor gave her steroids to give her a break from the pain, and I don't think she was using them correctly, because when she was taking the steroids, she was literally hopping up and down like she was Peter Pan, and that's how she thinks that medication is supposed to work. It's supposed to make her be able to function like an 18-year-old. And then when she was done with the steroids, she crashed. She was feeling all the pain from all the excessive jumping around and running around like crazy. So it came back to bite her in the butt. Now, as I even more got older, from what I know, she was taking hydrocodones. And it seemed to be a thing between her and other family members who take hydrocodones. And they would trade them with each other like they were like Pokemon trading cards. And a lot of times she would actually buy them for, you know, like a few bucks, or trade them like cigarettes for a pill, something like that. Like I think she was getting like maybe 30 a month. And, you know, I had another family member who would get 30 or even more, and she wouldn't take them all. So my mom would give her money, cigarettes, or what have you, for some of her pills. And with this addiction, it just got worse. When it was after I had my daughter, like a few years later, I started noticing that she would go through 2 weeks, like she was still acting like a narcissist, but she was a little nicer. And then for like the 2 weeks after that, she was like batshit insane. And I found out that she was getting 30 hydrocodones and 90 oxys she was getting 30 hydrocodones from one doctor, her main doctor. And then she conned another doctor into giving her 90 oxys. And then a lady who lived in her building, her apartment building, she got 90 oxys a month. And she just, somehow my mom conned her into giving her all her pills. So this lady never used them, so she just gave them to my mom. I had called her doctor. First I found out about all these pills, and then I found out she was taking them all within like 2 weeks, and then the next 2 weeks she was on a crash. So I called her doctor, and I informed her doctor, hey, you know, she's getting all these pills, so she's abusing them. And then I never heard back. And then I found out that her doctor changed her prescription from 30 hydros to 90 hydros. And I am pretty certain that my mother went up to her and said, oh, well, I got pills from another doctor because you just weren't giving me enough. So, you know, if you give me enough, I'll stop going to the other doctor. And that's not what happened. I don't even know how nobody is catching on to this, especially Medicaid, because Medicaid's paying for all of this. So then she had 90 hydros from the main doctor, and she's still getting 90 oxys from the other doctor, and then the 90 oxys that she's getting from the woman in her building. So that's 270 pills, pain pills, plus on top of all the other pills that she takes. So she was taking 270 pills in 2 weeks, and then crashing the other 2 weeks. And I mean, she would just go off about anything during those crashes. And my dad said he can tell it too, that she was abusing her medication. And I didn't want to believe it, but I knew. So one time she came down to visit. This is when my daughter was about 4 or 5. I think somewhere between 4 and 5. And I remember her telling me a couple days before she was supposed to arrive that she had talked to her doctor and was getting her doctor to give her more pills because she was going to run out of pills while she was down here. And she was only going to be here for a couple of weeks, like 2 or maybe 3 at most. But she was acting like she was going to be down here for months, and then she needed all these pills. So she got all those pills filled a couple days before she got down here so that she would have enough. And about a week and a half in or so, she comes to my room and she's like standing in the doorway, and she just, I don't even know if I can mimic her voice, but she had her teeth showing and she sounded kind of like Satan, and she just gave me this evil look and she was like, "Where are my pills? I know you took my pills." And I'm like, "What are you talking about, your pills? You just had them filled before you came down here." And she's like, "I know you took them." And then, like, I don't know what the heck she was freaking talking about. So the 270 pills plus whatever other pills that she has prescriptions for, like, she took those 270 pills in like a week and a half. And after that, she spent like a couple days without any pills. And she was freaking out and she wouldn't do anything. She was acting like she was dying. And she ended up going home early because she didn't have any pills. She actually called her doctor from my home talking about she doesn't have any more pills. I don't know what happened, but I'm pretty sure she conned her doctor saying, "Oh, I lost them," or they were stolen. And then I think I mentioned this before, where I had an issue, a medical issue that was very painful, and I was prescribed codeines. And I had taken a total of 2 out of the jar. There was 30. So there's 27 left. And then my mom came and she was like, "Oh, the plane, it hurt my back. Can I have some of these codeines?" I said, "No, I don't believe in sharing prescription medications." I wasn't going to take any more of these codeines anyway because they didn't make me feel right. And I went around the corner and I heard her close the cupboard. And then she goes and lays down in the spare room, and then I go over to the pill bottle and I count, and then there's 25, and I'm like, there's 3 missing. So I go up to her and she's laying down there on the bed in the spare room, just kind of looking relaxed. And I said, "How many codeine did you take?" At first she told me she didn't take any. And then gradually she would say she took 1, then she took 2, and then, "Oh, all right, I took 3, And she's like, "They're not doing anything for me anyway." How the heck can you take 3 freaking codeines and have it not affect you? You have to be an addict of prescription medications or any type of drug really to be able to take that much, like in drugs, and have it not affect you. So I ended up hiding the pills from her because I didn't trust her, and apparently she didn't have any of her own medications. I don't know why she wouldn't come with medications or take her own if she did have medications. I'm not sure what happened there and why she needed mine. I tried telling my brother, I tried telling other family members, anybody. I said, "Look, get her some help. She's addicted to pills. She's stealing pills. Something's wrong." Nobody wanted to do anything. Every single person pretty much told me the same thing. "Oh, that's your mother. That's just her." Or, "Oh, she's really in pain. She really needs it." So I was just like, well, you know, I already tried with her doctors, and obviously her doctor didn't care. So, you know, I'm just not going to bother with it because it's too much drama for me. But seeing her growing up is the exact reason why I don't drink, I don't smoke, and I don't do drugs. I actually have a fear of prescription drugs. Like when I had surgery on my ankle, the doctor wanted to give me 10 milligrams of Percocets, and I said nope, reduce it. And I said 5, let's try 5. If 5 doesn't work, then I'll come back and get 2.5, because the thing with me is I don't think prescription medications are for fixing your problem. Prescription medications are for, well, like some things are for fixing your problems. Like if I take Nexium for acid reflux, there's nothing I can really do to fix the problem except for, you know, lose more weight, change some eating habits, but I still get acid reflux no matter what. But with pain, like from a surgery, or your back hurting, or you hurt yourself, the pain pill, well, pills are supposed to just help with the pain. And for me, I like being in control of myself. So I wanted a low dosage of whatever, you know, the Percocet, so that I could still be conscious and still be able to function, like get up and get my daughter ready for school, but also not feel as much pain. I could deal with some pain, but I like the 5 milligram ones, because while I still felt the pain, it kind of made me not care, but I was completely not out of it. I was completely awake and alert and able to do things. Now with my ex, he also smoked cigarettes. He also had an addiction to sleeping pills for quite some time. I didn't even know about it. All I know is because we never really talked to each other or had anything to do with each other. We just basically coexist in the same house, and I was doing all the work. The only thing we did when we communicated was, you know, he would start fights. And his other thing that he was addicted to is porn. This is actually pretty common with narcissists. I was able to look on our computer and see that it was just looking all the time, every single day. Sometimes I'd go out shopping and come home and he's sitting there on the couch watching it and doing stuff. And I'm sitting there thinking, our daughter's in the other room sleeping. Why would you do it in the living room? And now for my brother, I don't really know for a fact of any of addictions. It's just the one time where I saw him with bloodshot eyes, and then he's always talking about drinking wine. Oh, and also when he was in the military, he was only in the Marines for 3 years. And the reason why he got out was because he injured his knee. But the way he injured his knee was he was drinking into oblivion. Somehow he passed out in the bathroom, hurt his knee, and somebody found him. And next thing you know, he's being meted out. So to me, if you're drinking so much that you're blacking out, you might be addicted. Other addictions include drama, hurting people, control, power, manipulating people, attention, approval, shopping. Now shopping is another one my mom also has. Gambling, and lying. And then when it comes to manipulating people, they'll do it even if it's like in an innocent situation where there's really no manipulation needed. They just do it for the sake of manipulating. Now, our narcissists are unlikely to get help because they don't see a problem. Now, earlier I was watching videos and reading some comments, and I came across a comment that I think fits pretty well. Okay, so I got my paper. The comment was about a year ago, and the name of the person is EcceSignumRex. I'll link his channel down below. But he raised like a really good point. Narcissists are addicted. Narcissists are addicted to stimulus. They like to do harmful things to get attention for being a victim. Doing bad things because they believe they are special and invincible, and no harm will come to them, but they get attention and are seen as a victim for not being able to control their addictions. So they go around getting sympathy from other people because, oh my God, they can't control their addiction. But they also get to do the harmful thing because they think that they're invincible. So they get both sides of the supply that they're looking for. So if you have any comments or stories or anything that you want to add, go ahead and comment below. You can also email me at NarcissistExposed@yahoo.com. If you have any questions or want me to share your stories, go ahead. Take care, guys.